The United Kingdom has placed Nigeria on the red list of countries that should not be actively targeted for recruitment by health and social care employers. 52 other countries, including Bangladesh, Benin, Ghana, and Afghanistan, are on that list. In its updated Code of Practice for International Recruitment, the UK said Nigeria should not be actively targeted for recruitment by health and social care employers unless there is a government-to-government agreement. It comes 1 month after the World Health Organization listed Nigeria among the countries facing the most pressing health workforce challenges. It also comes as lawmakers in Nigeria move to stop the migration of doctors by proposing 5 years of mandatory service before they are granted a full license.
We're joined now by public health expert and global health strategist Onyebuchi Eloke. Onyebuchi, good to see you and thanks for your time. This is one big news that many are still trying to dissect and understand. And if you look at it, government-to-government agreements, according to that release by the UK, says it must take steps to ensure that migration to the UK does not exacerbate existing health and social care workforce shortages in the country of origin. Let's break it down in simple terms.
Thank you very much. Before we talk about how we arrived here, we need to go back to the root cause of the problem. Right. This problem started long before now.
Before COVID?
Yeah, before COVID. You know, when British government pulled away from European Union, so you know, a lot of healthcare workers in UK left, especially those from the European, you know, within the European Union axis. We have the French workers and the German workers who are active, you know, expats in UK. They left. So giving room for UK government to now resort to African countries to look for healthcare workers that can work for them, you know, to replace those people that left. So now, that led to mass exodus of, you know, international migration of healthcare workers, especially from the Nigerian setting. People moved away from Nigeria, migrated from Nigeria to UK because the opportunities are there, the working environment is good there, so the salary too is good there. So they have to, you know, move. Now, because of the COVID-19 disruptions, to which, you know, affected a lot of things within the healthcare system, affected healthcare systems very well, UK have to, you know, accept them, provide these opportunities for them to move out. So when they got there, they left a lot of gap here because we now started having shortages of healthcare workers in Nigeria, and it is having negative impact in our healthcare systems. Now I'm coming. You know, we are having the next disease X, the next pandemic is very, very close because of random variation of the ecosystem, which has now given room for emerging pathogens to come in. So, and WHO understands this thing very perfectly. So they started doing what we call health workforce index analysis through the advisory group, which was, you know, hosted last month, 14th March. They published their report on the 14th of last month. Now, what was the agreement? They said, oh, if we don't do something about this, people will continue to emigrate, and the healthcare systems in low and middle income countries will begin to suffer. And when they begin to suffer, the next pandemic, which is very, very close, because of the climate situation, current climate situation in this planet now, it will affect the healthcare systems in these low and middle income countries, and also the universal health coverage, which is another sustainable development goal of the UN, which WHO is also a partner to it. They will not achieve that universal health coverage by 2030 if they continue to allow healthcare workers from low and middle income countries to, you know, to continue to emigrate outside.
Right.
Now, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, just so that we can get as many points in as possible. Now, this is, you know, the UK trying to help countries like Nigeria and other African countries to, you know, improve the low health workforce that it already has. This move will it really stop brain drain? Because there seems to be a caveat by the UK that says, look, this does not prevent individual health and social care personnel resident in countries on the red and amber country list from making a direct application on their own behalf. It doesn't stop them.
Yes.
So if the UK says, look, agencies can no longer come to Nigeria to recruit, but individual health workers can always, apply directly to work in those countries. How much difference really will this make to the issue of brain drain?
Exactly. That was the issue I'm trying to, because why WHO made that, because all these things centered through international politics, to be honest. Why WHO, the UK government took this decision because WHO released that publication. And UK is part of the UN systems too. So they have to act because WHO publication did not say that we are stopping international migration of healthcare workers. No, what they said is government to government agreement. Before you recruit any healthcare worker from any source country, you have to engage the ministries of health. That is part of the recommendations they made. You have to engage the ministries of health to be part of the arrangement, so that when those health workers are leaving, so that they will analyze to see whether the health workers leaving from the source country will affect the healthcare system development in that source country. So they are not trying to stop, total recruitment or healthcare migration from healthcare migration from source countries. No, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is there has to be a protocol so that it will not affect. To not have a negative impact on the healthcare system of the source country.
You know what Ungos is trying to say here is looking at the last caveat in that release by the UK. Specifically, I'll take that again. And it says, if you look at it, it says the individuals, active recruitment isn't permitted unless there is an agreement between the government of the nation on the red list and the UK government. And the last one there says individuals can apply on their own. What it means is UK healthcare companies can no longer come to Nigeria, but individuals. And already you said something about the environment, which is conducive, which is also it has some exciting.
All the facilities, everything that needs to be in place.
You already know that the individual.
That is a window. They are creating a window.
Now you're there.
Yeah, they are creating because, to be honest, you said something about the bill being passed by the House of Representatives. Yes. When I saw that bill, to be honest, I laughed. It's a bill that should be that should retire itself as an inconsequential resident of the dustbin of legislative history. It makes no sense.
Why? Because everything seems to be working together.
No, it makes no sense. Do you know why I said it makes no sense?
Yes.
They are acting against the fundamental human right of those doctors and dentists. And that is why that UK allowed that window opportunity at the so that those individuals on their own volition, you can say, oh, the working condition here is no longer attainable for me. I want to go. It's their human right.
So which brings me to the question of how do you now stop this brain drain? How do you ensure that this, look, the WHO did this listing on March
14th March.
Yes, just last month.
Yeah.
And it came out with a report saying that 54 countries, including Nigeria, are facing the most pressing health workforce challenges related to universal health coverage. So the fact is there is a challenge with the health workforce in Nigeria and other countries like So how do you stop this brain drain beyond this, the UK, the WHO interventions?
Thank you very much. First of all, you have to improve the salaries of these healthcare workers, especially doctors and dentists. Now, there is a pool that was organized in 2018 as to why doctors and dentists are migrating out of Nigeria. Right. It's very simple. They said high taxes. 98% of them say of them that was involved in the pool said 98% said high taxes and deductions from their salary, poor working environment. One of the doctors, an ONG, obstetrics and gynecologist, said that a protocol that would take her for 5 minutes takes her 45 minutes. Why? Because the equipment is not there. okay, my firm is organized. I'm doing a quality healthcare assessment on healthcare facilities in Nigeria. When you go there, it's an eyesore, to be honest. Sometimes you see doctors doing a protocol and you find out there won't be light in government hospitals. Now, and what they do is they go and start begging international organizations to provide solar and all that. That's an embarrassment, to be honest. And then there's budgets for these things. So they have to improve, upgrade local facilities too, local healthcare facilities. You go to the other day, one of the hospitals, I don't want to call names, one of the hospitals in MCT here, the nurse, a pregnant lady was there, trying to give, and he was in 4 cm since 11 p.m. till 9 a.m. when I got there, and these people were dancing. Nurses.
Because we're out of time. You know the question was
I'm trying to pick. I'm coming.
All right. Because if we can do this in a minute.
Fine. So now they have to upgrade the facilities. They have to improve on equally training of the healthcare workers, especially doctors and dentists. Some of these guys don't know the current protocols coming out in the healthcare system. So they have to, training, healthcare, formative empowerment, it has to be there. 3, I think President Buhari should be the last president, to undergo medical tourism in Nigeria.
Right.
And especially healthcare of government officials, especially when they're going to be treated with taxpayers' fund, by restricting them from going abroad to undergo healthcare treatment. If they are to do this in Nigerian hospitals, you will see Nigerian hospitals, like if the Senate President goes to maybe a Sokoro or Maitama hospital, or even national hospitals to be treated, and some of these things are not there, it will lead to what? Improvement. Yeah. Now, there is what we call diaspora remittance in Nigeria, which is almost, in 2021, diaspora remittance in Nigeria is about $19.5 billion. Now, if you remove 1% of that diaspora remittance in Nigeria, and put it into healthcare insurance in Nigeria, do you know what that's going to do? That's about $195 million. That will revitalize the Nigerian healthcare system. So there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
So much.
If these things are not addressed, okay, what is the hazard fee of a medical doctor in Nigeria? 5,000 naira. Somebody will spend $25,000 to train himself as a medical doctor in Nigeria, and then you give him hazard fee of 5,000 naira. Do you expect the person to stay?
Well, only recently the health minister actually said that state governments must invest in hiring health workers as part of a way to achieve universal health coverage. Eloke, unfortunately we have to leave it there. Of course, he's a public health expert and global health strategist joining us tonight on the news.